Good evening, everyone. So, welcome to your free tarot reading. I just want to remind you that the purpose of this reading is to figure out are they falling for you or another girl or woman. So let's get started. So we have three piles here. So we have pile 1, 2, and 3. So the first pile is represented by this key. The second pile is represented by this garden. And then the third pile is represented by this fish. So don't think about it too much. Just tune in, go with your immediate gut instinct, your first instinct, and try to decide between the three piles. I'm going to count down from 10, and then afterwards I'll start with group 1. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so if you've decided, I'm going to start with the first pile, and then I'm going to move the other piles out of the way. Okay, so the first pile we have represented by this key here. Let's see what we have. So I'm immediately seeing here that this person sees you as their companion. Like, you really have a good friendship here. I think maybe it was highly likely that you were friends before dating, or maybe you share kind of like a friendship type bond beyond just lovers. You share a friendship, a companionship. So that's what I'm seeing here. So they see you as a lover. They see you ultimately, you are their lover. So I think this is a really good sign. They are falling for you, or they already have fallen for you, and they definitely see you as their love romantically, so that's great. So this card, last card, I'm going to say represents maybe somebody, if they did ever fall for somebody else. I'm not saying that they did or that they will, but if there was anyone out there, or maybe this is just their type. Like, this is the type of person that they could potentially fall for. That's their ultimate type. It's somebody, I think, who reminds them of their mother. So someone who reminds them of the person that they grew up with, the first woman in their lives, the first female that they've ever loved is their mother. So that's just something to keep in mind. Like, maybe that's their ultimate type. Like, that's what makes them go weak in the knees, is someone who kind of reminds them of some aspects of their mom, whoever their mother is. So I'm gonna delve into it a little more, try to see maybe what more information we can get here. So yeah, I'm immediately seeing here that you guys, going back to the companion card, you guys have fun together. You're like, you almost have like a friend, like a sibling type relationship too. I mean, okay, that sounds weird. I don't mean like siblings, but just like you feel like your soul siblings. Like, you know, like having a soul sister, a soul brother, but in your case, you feel like maybe like your soul twins, twin flames, kind of like that. Like you just have a solid friendship beyond just love. So yeah, some twin flame energy I'm getting. And I think this represents maybe that person that you are asking this question about. They have kind of this energy. They're very emotional. I'm seeing represented by the cup. They're very emotional. They need affection, reassurance. I think they bond over warm feelings. Like, they love that, I think, about you too, maybe, is that you can bond together through warm feelings, affection, emotional bonding. I think they do put a high value on that. And then here we have, I think this maybe represents aspects of yourself that they might have fallen for. Like, this is what they saw in you, I think, when they fell for you, is the star. So like, almost like a childlike Aquarian energy. I mean, if you're not an Aquarius sun sign, you might have Aquarius possibly in your either your sun, moon, Venus, or rising signs. And you might want to check your natal chart for that if you want to know more. But yeah, some Aquarian, almost childlike, otherworldly energy, where I think maybe they honestly feel like you're kind of unique, like you're one of a kind. You definitely have a really free spirit. Yeah, that's what I'm ultimately getting. Free spirited energy. That's what they fell for you for, is that free spirited Aquarian kind of energy here. Okay, let's try to delve in a little bit more. And honestly, it doesn't look like right now they're falling for anyone else. But I have some more cards here to maybe try to delve into. So yeah, I think they kind of sense like a childlike energy from you, like Aquarian, kind of like otherworldly, like you're almost like a starseed energy I'm getting, like a starseed child, or you just have kind of like a childlike, free-spirited, almost like carefree, loving life type energy. And I think that's what they ultimately really like about you, is that free-spirited, playful energy. So here I'm getting that, so this might be their energy, like you always feel like, or your energy towards each other, like once again, going back to that twin flame energy, they're loyal, you're loyal, and you just have that companionship type energy. Then I'm also seeing that, maybe it's possible that you might have seen them communicating with someone else. Maybe that's why you're asking this question, possibly, is you might have seen them maybe communicating with somebody else on social media or email or something like that, and most likely social media in this day and age. But I'm seeing that maybe that's the reason why you asked this question. Like you might have seen something, like here we have communication. Like this card traditionally represents gossip, but I think in this case it probably means communication. So they're probably, if you did see something, they're probably just talking, like they're just maybe just talking about every day. It doesn't look like anything romantic or anything that should be suspect or anything that indicates that this person is falling for them. It really just seems like friendly communication, friendly banter back and forth. So I really am not seeing that you have anything to worry about. So here I'm seeing that they sense you being their anchor of sorts, like stability, like they think of you as, this is the person that, even if people have imaginations, they may occasionally, their mind might wander in all sorts of directions, but I think they ultimately see you as their anchor that they come back to. And here I'm seeing some dreamy energy with the stars. So I'm seeing that you guys maybe share dreams, each other's hopes and dreams with one another, going back to that emotional energy, emotional bond and vibe that you share. So that's something that's really positive, I think, in this dynamic. So yeah, I think ultimately, I'm just seeing that there's really nothing to be worried about. I think they maybe already have fallen for you, or they fell for you long ago. To me, it just seems like that has already happened, possibly, and now it's more like a stable kind of vibe between the two of you, and it really doesn't look like there's anything to worry about. Anything that I see anyway, within this reading. Not really seeing anything to worry about. Okay, so that was the reading for group 1. I hope this was informative. I hope you enjoyed the reading. So click like, comment, subscribe, and share if this reading resonated with you. And I will see you later, group 1. Okay, so I'm gonna get straight into group 2, which was the garden. This is represented by the garden card here. So let's see what we have for you guys. So immediately I'm seeing that this other person that you're asking this question about, they kind of have this warrior energy. Maybe if they're a man, they're very alpha. Female, they're very fiery. Either or, but they definitely have this warrior, survivalist, almost like pushing forward through life. Very dominant energy I'm getting. Very dominant, like maybe they have fire in their chart. If they're not a fire sun sign, they could possibly have that fire Sagittarius, Aries, Leo energy in their sun, moon, or rising in their natal chart. But I'm getting some fire energy for this other person. So here I see that this is what they see you as. Like, I think they ultimately, maybe even on a subconscious level or conscious level, you have like an angelic aura about you. Whether you try to portray that or not, I'm getting that you do kind of come across as being very pure, being very just angelic energy. I'm getting. So there might actually be like, I'm not saying that they're looking at someone else or falling for anyone else necessarily, but I do see that if there is anyone in their radar who's maybe trying to get their attention or something, this is the energy that they're giving off. Or maybe this is like, if this other person wondered about their ultimate like forbidden fantasy, but just like a fantasy, not really anything that they consider as reality, as something that they really see as, this is something viable for me, because I see that they do care about you. They see you as like an angel, angelic energy. But if they did ever have like a secret fantasy or forbidden fantasy that they'd never really considered acting on, because they don't really see that as realistic, it would be a person who has this hedonist energy. So it's almost like the opposite of your energy, which you have angelic energy. But I think that in their minds, because they like you so much, because they see you as someone who does have that pure angelic aura, they see this as like taboo, almost like somebody who has this hedonistic energy as a taboo sort of like fantasy. But I don't think they would necessarily act on it, and even if they did, I really don't think they see this as a real option for them. Like, it would really just be at most maybe a fling, but if even that. So it's really just like a fantasy in their mind that I think they know that it's not realistic. They don't really see themselves with somebody who's a hedonist long term. And hedonist is just someone who just really enjoys life without thinking about precautions. They kind of live recklessly, not very responsible, just kind of really, really, I don't really want to say the word sin, but yeah, like, I mean, hedonism, you kind of think of it as having like the connotation of like sinful, like a sinful sort of existence, whereas I'm seeing here that you're more like an angel, which is pretty much the exact opposite. So that's really interesting. Okay, so I'm gonna draw some more cards, or look at some more cards to try to get some more information for you here. So yeah, I'm seeing that going back to that kind of angelic energy, this is the energy that they're getting from you. You are very emotional, intuitive. I'm getting some water energy, so you may be Pisces or a Cancer, possibly a Scorpio, but I'm really getting more, yeah, you might actually be a Scorpio as well. I don't know, but like a softer version of a Scorpio. So you probably have water in either your Sun, Moon, Rising, or Venus signs in your natal chart. But they do see you as this kind of angelic energy. Like I think this is a painting that was kind of modeled after Aphrodite, and she's born out of a seashell. She comes from the sea foams, very pure, angelic, like kind of like a goddess, and pure and angel aura. So that's what they get from you. Okay, so I see that they really do care about you. They probably are pretty crazy about you. So I would say that might even be an understatement. So this is, I think, their energy, Emperor. So if you have that angelic sort of energy, they're once again kind of dominant, alpha, I don't think they're necessarily controlling, but there is a fine line, I think, between being an emperor, a very strong, mighty emperor, and being a tyrant. So maybe they do have slight insecurities or controlling tendencies, possibly, but this is just maybe. They might not. But this is the energy I'm getting from them. They like to be in charge. That's what I'm getting. And here's the moon. So I think this exemplifies you, like your state of mind usually as you go about life. I think you have a very intuitive energy. You're very in tune with your subconscious. The moon represents the subconscious, intuition. And I think that as long as you take time to tune into that subconscious, intuitive, like your inner self, your inner truth, your senses, I think that you probably already know what's going on if you reach inside your inner self to really get in tune with that emotional truth. So that is what I'm getting. And then I'm gonna try to look at some more cards to see if maybe there's some more information we can get for you. So yeah, here I'm getting that this other person, they might have some fire in their chart from the warrior, but I'm more so getting, more so than fire actually for them, I'm getting more earth, like this bear. So possibly like Taurus, Capricorn, Virgo energy. That's what I'm very strongly getting from them. Once again, either in their sun, moon, rising, or Venus chart, their Venus signs in their natal chart. So they're kind of stubborn, steadfast, kind of slow moving, but they're very stubborn energy. So yeah, very dominant, stubborn. So yeah, but I'm getting here for some reason that you may have been a bit stressed out about this, sort of this whole situation, because I'm seeing that you might have isolated yourself, represented by this tower, or either you feel isolated, but it's kind of like an isolation of your own making, because you do have the choice to get out. It may be difficult, but you know, it's an isolation of your own making because I think you're stressing out over this situation. That's kind of what I'm getting here. But yeah, I think you know intuitively, represented by the moon, you know, if you reach inside your inner self for your deep emotional inner truth, I think you already know kind of what you need to do, whatever it is. I don't necessarily think that this person is straying, you know, regardless of that sort of unrealistic, like taboo, like fantasy that they may or may not act on, which I think that even if they did, they know that realistically it wouldn't work out with somebody like that hedonist energy. I honestly don't think you have anything to worry about in that department, but there may be something else going on. Like if you are feeling like trapped in sort of a tower, isolated tower, isolated place of your own making in your mind, there may be some other issues going on, maybe relating to some other things that I might have mentioned previously in this reading. And I do see here that, yeah, that you're at a crossroads. You're trying to, maybe, you know, it even goes beyond this question that you're asking through this reading. There may be something that you needed to make a choice on, like a hard decision on, and you might have known for a while, represented by the crossroads here. But I see here that you have a very ladylike energy. You take the high road. You kind of have, you know, that phrase, like once a lady, always a lady. Like you tend to be very ladylike and act like a lady, and I think that's what ultimately sets you apart in the decisions that you make. And if you're a man, you have like a gentlemanly energy. You act very noble. You take the high road, and I think that's what sets you apart from other people in general when you're making decisions. And here I see flowers. This usually means like an invitation to an event, or like a social event, or some kind of ceremony, or some happy event in your life, whether that's a graduation or a party, an event, just a really special kind of happy event. So I think you might get an invitation, or you might find yourself in a situation like that, where you might gain some clarity there. So if you do get invitations to any positive social events where like, oh, I'm gonna have fun there, you might want to go to that event with that thought in mind, to maybe clear your mind a little bit from that self created tower, that kind of isolated energy that you may or may not be struggling with right now. So that is all I have for group 2, represented by the garden. It doesn't really look like you have anything to worry about in terms of this person. I mean, it seems like they've fallen for you already. They're pretty crazy about you, but there may be some other things that you're needing to make a decision over. So yeah, okay, so that's all I have for group 2. I hope you enjoyed this reading. I hope it was informative. So click like, comment, subscribe, share if this video resonated with you. And I'm going to move straight on to group 3 without further ado. So here we have group 3 represented by the fish. So let's see what we have going on for you guys. So I'm seeing here that this other person might be a bit passive aggressive, may or may not be a bit passive aggressive towards you. They may have some pent up, like you may be going through some issues, or maybe recently had an argument or something, or some kind of passive aggressive energy being thrown back and forth. They might have had, or maybe both of you might have had some like pent up feelings for a while now, and you may take that on each other passive aggressively, but I'm sensing that they have some passive aggressive energy here, and that's been kind of building up over time, maybe, possibly. And here I'm getting for you, so this is how they see you. I think this means that ultimately they kind of see you as maybe someone who not like nags them, but like definitely judges them in a way that maybe sometimes it rubs them the wrong way. They may be a bit insecure, or have a sensitive ego, or be a bit of an egoist or something, but they see you as someone who judges them often, and maybe points things out about them for some reason. Okay, that's what I'm getting. So this card represents potentially, like, if they were to fall for someone, they might not even exist. Just like potentially, like if they were to fall for anyone at this current moment, figuratively speaking, it could, it would be somebody with this energy, damsel. So maybe, like I mentioned earlier, like this person is kind of insecure. Like you might have been kind of like, they feel like you judge them, maybe because you have really high standards, or maybe you've been told like you're a bit high maintenance or something. But they see you as, having like hawk eyes, I think. Like you can see through them, and that allows you to judge them really easily, because you can see things about them without a lot of effort. I see that you're really detail-oriented or discerning, probably. But if they were to potentially fall for anyone in their radar, who like throws themselves at them or whatever it may be, or if they had like a fantasy person, it would be like somebody that they could save, represented by this damsel card. Somebody that's going to make them feel big, like a big hero, kind of like make their ego like feel better. Maybe their ego feels kind of bruised. Maybe this person has insecurity problems ultimately. Okay, yeah, that's what I'm getting. Like maybe they have some insecurity problems, and a damsel or somebody that they have to save, if you're male, with a female partner, just someone that they feel like they can save, would make themselves feel better and less insecure about themselves. So that's ultimately what I'm getting. Okay, so let's see if I can get more information from you. Some other cards here. So yeah, I'm getting that you've been kind of struggling a lot with this dynamic that you have with this person. Like, once again, going back to possibly that passive aggressive energy. Like, you see all these cups, they vases or cups, fountains, they represent emotions. Excuse me. I'm gonna take a sip of my tea. So you've been struggling with this a lot. I see maybe you've been having some sleepless nights. You've been thinking about it a lot, ruminating about it a lot. And I think this ultimately means you just need to take a break to connect with yourself. Connect with all 5 senses. Like, go for a walk, cook yourself a nice meal, go exercise, connect with all of your senses, like sight, sound, smell, feeling, just really being in tune with yourself, because I see that you may be a bit struggling emotionally and you really need to connect with yourself, I think. So yeah, I'm seeing that maybe they see you as like somebody who's a bit forceful, and like I mentioned earlier, like maybe you've been told that you're high maintenance or you have high expectations of other people and yourself. So I think maybe they kind of get this energy from you, like you're trying to tame them. Like maybe inside they visualize themselves as a lion, or having kind of, like going back to having kind of that big ego, or having an easily bruised ego, or maybe some insecurity lurking there possibly, but they see you as someone who is kind of pushy, and ultimately kind of pushes them in directions that they may not want to go, or they're not ready or mature enough to go towards. So that's what I'm getting here. And then here we have the 8 of Cups. Okay, so I think maybe going back to that damsel card, it is possible that they have been fantasizing about rescuing, like, oh, what would it be like if I could find a damsel, or just somebody I can rescue, make me feel like a bigger hero, a bigger person, because of that sort of insecurity that may be lurking under there possibly, that they've been fantasizing about it here. So all these vases and everything, they're filled with all sorts of fantasies, imaginations, dreams. So they may or may not act on it, or may not have acted on it, but they're definitely fantasizing about it, maybe to try to get away from their own insecurities. Maybe it's like a passive aggressive way to feel better about themselves. They may be struggling with some possible insecurities here, like a bruised ego, like maybe their ego is bruised for whatever reason. And this is a form of like escape, possibly, like having these thoughts, and possibly that's what I'm getting. So let's look at some more cards here to try to figure out some more information for you. So here I'm seeing that, yeah, you have been struggling, like, once again, with the passive aggression towards each other. This might have been a repetitive thing that's been going on for a while, represented by the whip. It's been repetitive, over and over, round and round. So that's kind of what I'm getting, and that's been stressing you out, like I said previously. I think that, so represented by the ship card, I think one or both of you may be looking for an escape of some kind, like a way to just, if they could, like, jump on a ship and escape this situation, like these issues, and get swept up by the wind in a ship. So that's kind of what I'm getting from this, like looking, like escapism, like looking for escape from the issues. And yeah, it's definitely been kind of difficult. Like, if you were to sort of mend those passive aggressive hurts or insecurities that one or both of you might have, it's going to be a long process. It's not going to be easy. You really have to do some self-work, connect with yourself, yourselves, emotionally, mentally, physically, spiritually, and really try to figure out the ultimate root of the issue. And here I'm seeing a fox. So if they were to be talking to somebody else, or somebody is in the radar with that quote unquote damsel energy, that other person is quite foxy, quite wily, I'm getting. They know what they're doing, and they're definitely somebody who knows what they're doing. They're wily. They may even be putting on this image of I'm a damsel, or maybe they really are a damsel, like, you know, in the sense that they need help, maybe, you know, kind of unfortunate person that needs compassion, even, you know, someone who needs help. Okay, but, you know, they do have that wily sort of energy. They're clever. Yeah, I mean, I think they know what they're doing. So, I don't know. Okay, that seems, so here is the lady card. So I think whatever happens in this scenario, you are ultimately, I think, you have dignity and integrity, and I think you will choose the right path for you that maintains that energy of having integrity, taking the high road, being honorable, and being a lady. And yeah, so we have the Scythe card. So this may represent a need to either let go of certain, like I said, like the passive aggressiveness, the cycle, the rumination, the past hurts, or maybe insecurity issues. Like I said, you need to do some self-work. One or both of you, or probably both of you, and mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually connecting with yourselves. And I'm getting that ultimately that's going to lead to a transition, you know, letting go of like old past pains, past regrets. I don't know if this is necessarily letting go of the relationship, but letting go of something and transitioning into something new. And I think that whatever that is, whatever that transition is, it's going to be for the better. Whatever you're letting go of, it's going to be, I think it's going to lead to something more positive in the long run. So that is all I have for group 3, for the represented by the fish card. So I hope this was informative. Click like, comment, subscribe, share if this video resonated with you, and I will see you later.